Here we are, and it's now a historic site, Phillip Roth home. This was the first childhood home of Phillip Roth, one of America's greatest writers of the 20th and 21st centuries. Can you believe it?
Well, it's amusing. No, I can't believe it.
If it's true, you can't go home again. Don't tell that to Phillip Roth.
I was pretty happy here, yeah.
The legendary writer's childhood house in Newark, New Jersey still stands with a plaque in his honor.
This part of Summit Avenue is now Phillip Roth Plaza.
Yeah, that's terrific, isn't it?
It is pretty great.
And even the street signs seem to welcome him back.
When you lived here and you were growing up, did you want to be famous? Did you want to be somebody whose name everybody knew?
Yeah, I wanted to be a famous baseball player.
Instead, he had to settle for America's greatest living novelist, as he's been called many times.
This hill was a sledding hill. Well, you see, it's pretty good.
And one of his greatest subjects is the town where he grew up. In his latest book, Nemesis, Roth imagines a polio epidemic in 1940s Newark.
While we were growing up, it was, I think, the single greatest menace. The cause was unknown. There was no treatment, so it was pretty terrifying.
By my count, this is around your 30th novel, Nemesis.
About, I guess.
A lot of writers take 10 years to turn out one book. How do you do all of this? How do you write so quickly, so prolifically, and so well?
I don't sleep.
His real secret may be solitude. Roth, now 77, has few distractions from his work.
It's solitary and pleasant.
On the sprawling rural Connecticut property where he lives by himself.
Do you get lonely out here?
Sometimes.
So what do you do then? Just go back in the city?
No, just get over it.
He may get over it, but many of his characters, like those in his latest book, are not so lucky.
Usually your main characters, the people who are really driving the story, they don't end up happy. And not just in marriage, but just in life they don't end up very happy.
A lot of people don't end up happy.
Do you not believe in happily ever after?
No, I don't believe in that phrase. I'm interested in people when they're not happy.
And unhappy characters have served Phillip Roth well. His first book, Goodbye Columbus, about the guy who doesn't get the girl, grabbed the National Book Award. And Portnoy's Complaint, his blockbuster novel 10 years later, grabbed something else, national attention. Portnoy, which became a movie, introduced Roth's now trademark frankness about a subject that nobody discussed, masturbation.
There aren't a lot of writers who write with as much candor and humor about sex over the years. Why has that been such a recurring topic for you?
Sex is important. Sex plays a big part in people's lives, plays a huge part in their imaginations. And therefore, it's a subject for writing.
Roth says just before the book was published, he took his mom and dad out to lunch to prepare them for all the controversy that he confidently predicted would soon swirl around them and their son, the writer. Years later, his father told him,
"You know what happened when we got in the taxi cab?" "What?" I said. He said, "Your mother began to cry. And she said, he has delusions of grandeur."
Roth insists his parents were not the models for Portnoy's unlikable mom and dad. His loving mother, a homemaker, and his father, a successful insurance salesman, raised 2 sons.
What were you like as a kid?
Oh, adorable.
When did you start wanting to be a writer?
I think in college, I began to write very bad, very sensitive stories. And I wrote those through college.
His writing has evolved, but one central theme remains constant.
You are a secular writer, but religion or people of the Jewish faith just seem to be characters in your books, and Jewishness
seems to be a recurring factor. Why is that?
Well, those are the people I knew. If I grew up in Minneapolis, I would have written about the people in Minneapolis. But I grew up in the southwest corner of Newark, New Jersey, and they were mostly Jews.
Do you consider yourself a religious person?
No, I don't have a religious bone in my body.
You don't. So do you feel like there's a God out there?
I'm afraid there isn't, no.
You know that telling the whole world that you don't believe in God is going to say, have people say, oh my goodness, that's a terrible thing for him to say.
When the whole world doesn't believe in God, it'll be a great place.
Blunt talk from a guy who himself has been bluntly assessed by his ex-wife, British actress Claire Bloom, who described Roth as a hostile man in a scolding memoir after their 1995 divorce. Your former wife, Claire Bloom, claimed that you don't even like women.
Let's forget that.
You don't want to talk about her?
No.
That was a bad episode in your life?
No, I don't want to comment on libels.
Even during rocky personal times, Roth has kept writing, at the surprising pace, he told us, of only 1 page a day. But they've been good pages. In the 1990s, 4 of his novels won major American writing awards, including the Pulitzer Prize for American Pastoral. That must have impressed even you.
I liked it. I began to get used to it.
Did it make you a little cocky for a while?
No, it felt good. It's good. It's nice to win prizes. Yeah? The child in one is very excited.
Yet, though he says he will never stop writing, the chronicler of Newark insists he's unconcerned about how he'll be remembered. What would you hope that your legacy would be with all of these books that you've written over these many years?
Oh, gosh. When does a legacy begin?
I think when you're gone, way down the line.
When I'm gone, huh? Okay. I don't worry about that.